You know that feeling, right? You're right in the middle of streaming your favorite show, and boom, the Wi-Fi drops. We've all been there. But what if I told you that the solution to that exact problem wasn't born in Silicon Valley? Nope. It actually came from a totally failed attempt to hear black holes exploding at the very edge of the universe. Yeah, I know, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it is absolutely true. So how on earth did a failed astronomy experiment end up saving your internet connection? Well, the story connects the incredible mind of Stephen Hawking, a super determined team of Australian scientists, and believe it or not, the very device you're using to watch this. Okay, so before we could get the amazing, seamless Wi-Fi we have today, engineers back in the 90s hit a massive, massive wall. They had this dream of creating wireless speeds that could actually match a physical cable. But indoors, well, the laws of physics were basically fighting them every step of the way. The main bad guy in our story has a fancy name, multipath interference. But think of it like this. If you shout something in an open field, your voice travels in a nice, clean, straight line. But what if you shout in a hall of mirrors? Your voice bounces all over the place, right? It creates this confusing jumble of echoes. And that is exactly what radio waves do inside a room. So what we're looking at here is the problem in action. The scientists trying to solve this found that a perfectly clean signal leaving a router would get bombarded by dozens of its own reflected copies. All those echoes arrive at your device at slightly different times, and it turns a clear stream of data into just digital mush. It made high-speed wireless feel pretty much impossible. And this quote right here, it comes from the man at the very center of our story, Dr. John O'Sullivan. He and his team were staring down this incredible roadblock. I mean, how do you unscramble a signal that is literally scrambling itself in the exact room it's supposed to work in? The answer, it turns out, didn't come from focusing harder on the problem indoors. It came from looking up, way, way up, far away from any walls or furniture, and deep into the vastness of space. So let's rewind the clock to the 1970s, long before anyone was even thinking about Wi-Fi. This team at Australia's science agency, CSIRO, was hunting for something completely different. They were chasing this wild idea from Stephen Hawking that tiny, microscopic black holes could be evaporating and, as they did, releasing these faint whispers of radio energy. Their whole mission was to build a telescope sensitive enough to actually hear them. And this was the crew. Led by O'Sullivan, these engineers and physicists were on a mission that had absolutely nothing to do with getting internet on your laptop. They were pure researchers, chasing a fundamental question about the nature of the entire universe. Now, to find those incredibly faint signals, they first had to clean up all the cosmic static that was in the way. And their secret weapon was a special chip that ran a mathematical process called a Fast Fourier Transform. Just think of it like a sound engineer for the universe. It could take a messy, jumbled up radio wave and instantly separate all the different frequencies, pulling a clean signal out of all that background noise. And here it is. This is the moment of pure genius. Now, spoiler alert, they never found those exploding black holes. But years later, while wrestling with that indoor echo problem, Dr. O'Sullivan had this incredible realization. A radio signal getting distorted by bouncing around an office was mathematically the exact same kind of mess as a radio signal getting distorted by traveling through deep space. They already had the tool to fix it. And this is the truly brilliant part. They didn't even try to stop the echoes. No, instead, they just embraced them. They used their cosmic toolkit to invent a workaround so clever that the echoes, they just didn't matter anymore. See, the old way was like trying to shout one long, fast message down a tunnel. The echoes would just completely garble it. But the new idea was so simple and elegant. Instead of shouting, what if you had many people all whispering different parts of the message at the same time, but really slowly? Even if a few of those whispers got lost in the echoes, the receiver could still easily piece together the full message from all the ones that made it through. And we're not just talking about a few whispers. The official standard that was built on their work splits a single Wi-Fi signal into 52 separate streams. 48 of those carry your actual data, while 4 of them act like little guides to help your device piece everything back together perfectly. So let's break down their divide and conquer strategy. Step 1. The chip splits the data into those 52 slower streams. Step 2, they're all sent out at the exact same time. Step 3, the chip on the receiving end reassembles them. And because each little piece is sent more slowly, the echoes from the bouncing signal just don't have enough time to mess things up. Problem solved. So, the team patented their invention. which they called wireless LAN, or WLAN for short. But, inventing it was one thing. Getting the rest of the world and all the massive tech companies already building their own wireless gear to recognize it and pay for it, well, that was a whole other battle. This quote just captures the struggle perfectly. You had CSIRO, a public research agency from Australia, suddenly locked in this decade-long legal fight against some of the biggest tech giants on the entire planet who were all using their patented tech without a license. And as you can see from this timeline, this was a long, hard-fought journey. I mean, they filed the first patent way back in 1992, but it wasn't until 2005 that they even launched their first test case. It took another 7 years of intense legal battles before the industry's big players finally agreed to settle. And the result of that huge victory? Over $430 million. It was just this massive vindication for the Australian team and incredible proof of the value that was hidden inside their accidental discovery. But the money is one thing. What about the impact on the world? Well, by 2013, when the patent finally expired, more than 5 billion devices had been sold using their technology. Just think about that for a second. Phones, laptops, printers, game consoles. An entire revolution in how we connect with each other, all built on a failed hunt for black holes. And here's the best part of the whole story. That money didn't just disappear into some corporate bank account. It went right back to the public science agency that started it all, funding the next generation of research. And who knows, maybe the next world-changing discovery, born from just being curious about the cosmos. It's just an amazing story of serendipity, isn't it? A quest to answer this huge cosmic question, are there exploding black holes out there, ended up solving a very practical problem that most people didn't even know they were going to have yet. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most useful inventions come from the most curious minds. So next time you hop on the Wi-Fi, maybe you'll think of them.